This is Between Hooksets. I'm Jason Walter from In Through the Outdoors with my partner in slime, Kurt Underhill from the fishing crew.
What is going on, dude?
Learning. I don't know. I don't know what StreamYard's schedule is all about. I have no idea. But if we weren't live, it's a good thing because my microphone just crashed. And it almost smashed my York peppermint patty. It's peppermint patty day today, so I've been saving this for after the show.
Little dessert, huh?
Yeah, a little after show snack.
Nice.
So I left the radio station and I'm in my apartment. So hopefully everything's fine there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. People usually have a live audience at the radio station, right?
Well, yeah, there's always somebody around, but
so there's probably people
decided I wanted to be at home from now on. I kind of liked it at home a little bit more. I really liked my my old basement man cave thing, but I'll figure something out there. Excited about tonight because tonight's, I don't want to say it's different, but it's going to be a different kind of conversation. And I'm really excited for the whole thing. You figured this out, found it out, so you get to explain it all.
Yeah, so I'm not going to get too much into it, but we have a couple of the folks on for the South Dakota Youth Hunting Adventures. So they've got a big show the sports show in Rapid City, which I found out way more than I ever knew today, that they actually run that sports show. They have their banquet. They have all kinds of stuff going on this weekend in Rapid City. And we're going to bring on Amy and Justin tonight and let them talk about a little bit. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Awesome that you're here. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
So, Amy, you you explained to me that your dad founded this thing.
Yep.
And you have been kind of probably like a little like my wife, forced into being part of.
It's a family affair. It's a family affair. Let's put
my wife is voluntold quite a bit in the fishing business. We're already getting shout outs. And Justin, from talking with you, you've been a part of this for a couple of years now. So,
yep.
Amy, why don't you tell us what this South Dakota Youth Hunting Adventure is all about?
Sure. The South Dakota Youth Hunting Adventures was founded. We're closing in on 20 years. I think we're at 18 and a half years. And it was kind of a brainchild of my dad, who's Jim Skull, an avid outdoorsman and local conservationist. And he just kind of had this pull of how can I get kids outside, and particularly kids who don't have the opportunity or the means to get outside. And that was kind of the beginnings of it. And he pulled together a group. A lot of the board members are the original board members. He pulled in people from Pheasants Forever, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Safari Club, the National Turkey Hunters, like all of the local hunting and conservation groups. He kind of pulled them all together, and they put their heads together. And they, at the time, had partnered with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and out of all that formed South Dakota Youth Hunting Adventures, which in short is a mentoring program that facilitates hunting. And so we have a model similar to like a big brother, big sister, in that our executive director, who's not with us tonight, he's actively recruiting mentors, which is what Justin is. And then he always has more kids than adults, right? And he goes through a specialized matching process and teams up children who want to learn to hunt, who want to learn to fish, and teams them up with a mentor who's avidly passionate about this cause. And they get put together, and they go out and they do everything from harvesting their first doe to turkey hunting. Justin's a big turkey hunter, so his mentors get that opportunity. We have people that are really into geese hunting. We've had mentors that have been able to go elk hunting with their mentors. Wow. So that's kind of it in a nutshell, and kind of our tagline. It's more than a hunt; it's a connection, and we just believe, like, through getting some of these children outside, we're able to change their lives and show them the power of outdoors. And we also teach them hunting safety. They all have to go through hunter safety. We take them through shooting safety classes and how to properly shoot and load and safe lock and all that stuff. We teach them about land conservation, and just really try to keep the generation of hunters, growing up.
Yeah,
it's amazing to me the thing that happens to a kid when they experience hunting for the first time. I don't know if it's a chemical thing. I don't know what it is, but it really reshapes the way a kid thinks, right? I mean, it's pretty amazing.
I mean, that's what we believe. And we also believe anything to get them off of their devices, out of the house, I don't know the exact statistics, but there's a large portion. We have about 60 active matches, and I would say 85% of those don't have an active father in the home.
Wow.
So that's Justin probably could speak a little closer to that with what he knows, but in many cases, getting a male influence into that child's life. We do have a handful of female mentees. We're always looking for female hunters. So yeah, it's a real special program. It's been wildly successful. And kind of through that, maybe I think we were thinking 14 or 15 years ago, the community came and asked if we would take over the Black Hills Sports Show and Outdoor Expo, which has actually been going on 44 years. It has a very long history, but it has had different leadership changes, and they felt that our organization would be a good mix. And so I was brought in about 14-ish years ago and took it over, and it's one of our major fundraisers for South Dakota Youth Hunting Adventures.
So Justin, let's talk about a little bit about you, what your background is, and how you got involved into this thing. And we're going to kind of jump back and forth because I've got questions for Amy, but I don't want you sitting in the corner not saying anything.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, so I really got into it 3-4 years ago. Of course, I've always taken my own kids and other kids, and I found the program, and I really wanted to give back to the community. So I was like, well, let me see what's going on. And I started volunteering, and now I have 3 mentees that I take out. So it's not, we don't just do it for a weekend or one hunt a year or anything like that. Most of the time it's the entire season. So we get a kid out at least once a month, and
That's
hunting,
impressive.
fishing, whatever they want to do. Yeah.
Wow.
And most of the kids stay with our program. They can enter in at, I believe, 13. And a lot of these kids stay with us all the way to 18. I mean, it's not, again, just a one season. My dad has had mentees for 5 or 6 years,
That was going to be a question, if you're saying you got 4 or 5 mentees and you're taking these kids out, is it like a one time and done, or you're with these people for quite some time?
Absolutely. And like my kids, I have 3 teenage boys, and yeah, it's every other weekend. It seems like it's like, hey, let's go fishing or shed hunting or, whatever to get them outdoors. And yeah.
So that's a big part of their life. I mean, I'm fortunate to grow up with a father that, instilled the outdoors in me. And I love to get back in that aspect of being able to take these kids. Like I tell everybody, I've hunted and fished and, been to all over the United States doing stuff. And my fondest hunting memory is watching my daughter shoot her first doe. That's my fondest. If you ask me to tell you one story, that's the story I'm going to tell you every time. And it's something so special to, for me as a dad watching it. I got to take a buddy of mine's son this year to shoot his first doe. And that was such a thrill watching it. And I had my cousin with, and he was, he's not a dad. He's in his 30s. He's a very kind-hearted guy, loves kids, but he sat in the truck as we got out to shoot this doe. And after we got done, we were talking about it. He goes, I'm kind of upset I didn't get out and be part of that, because after watching everything that went down, I missed something.
Yeah, right.
I missed that moment. He was in the pickup just behind us because we just happened to pop over a hill and there was a doe, and I'm like, all right, let's go. And he wasn't far out of the action, but he's like, I wish I'd have been right beside you guys, listening to you talk to him, walking him through the shot. And he goes, I just can't wait to do something like that. So it's such a special place. And I props to you guys for what you do. And it's no small task.
Right.
And one of the things I guess we have failed to mention too is it just goes beyond the hunt. Once the harvest has taken place, we have local processors that have teamed with us, and they will process the meat for free. We have a way to store that meat, and so the families then have access to eat the harvest. So it's not just shoot an animal, right?
Yeah.
We're teaching these children the importance of the meat and how we process that and how we then consume that and so
a lot of our mentors too, they actually we process it with our mentees, and we show them how to do it and go through those stages and show them how to cook it sometimes even. And
we've had like some jerky classes and smoking, so it really is like farm to table, so to speak. And
but that's the important lesson.
Yeah.
For young people, though, right, is that you're not out harvesting and just leaving it. It all comes full circle.
Yep.
You are harvesting and you, I mean, it's for consumption.
Right.
That's what it's all about. Do you have a youngster or two that will decide it's just not for them, which is okay, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Especially after, harvesting an animal the first time, you can usually tell, and you don't want to push them. You just go, okay, it's not for you. Totally get it, understand it, and let's go try fishing instead of deer hunting.
And see how fishing is. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's amazing that we've got those opportunities. It's unfortunate, taking a life of a rabbit, a goose, a squirrel, a gopher, a deer, that is something, right? I mean, that is a responsibility that is hard for some. My brother, it wasn't very easy for my brother. I became very passionate about it. Mm-hmm. And I tried to instill that in my son. And then when it came down to, well, if we're going to hunt pheasant, we're eating pheasant. Mm-hmm. We're not just going to put it in the freezer and leave it. And so that did kind of change his whole thought on, well, this is a ton of fun. But it's not just about fun. There's a responsibility factor to it.
Right.
Responsibility and teaching them respect for the animals and
and respect for the landowners. And I mean, it's a very, I have not been a mentor. I have 3 young children of my own that I'm mentoring, so to speak. But, I think one of the goals of the program, and especially of the mentors, is just this essence of respect.
Yeah. Right.
And all,
and that's something we all have to grow up learning. And I truly think that, especially hunting, helps a young child at 12. They're doing their hunter safety course, right? So by the time they're 12 and a half or they're 13, they're into it. When I was 13, I was into it myself with my buddy. Luckily, we lived on the edge of town, and then at 14, we got our driver's license, and we're off to the hunt.
Right.
Alone, so we had to grow up rather quickly, but we didn't really think about it. All of a sudden, we just kind of became little adults because we had to be responsible with a vehicle and the whole 9 yards of everything from hunting to coming home to making sure. Now, we were very lucky in the fact that as youngsters, there were a number of neighbors that wanted ducks and geese.
Right.
So, and that was something to learn as well, right? Because you're providing food and something that other people want, but you can't just go out there and harvest just to harvest. There's got to be purpose behind it, even if that's feeding the neighbors.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, sure. So wonderful program. That's not cheap. I mean, it takes funds. So.
Yeah, and we don't just reward them, with hunting and fishing. They also, if they do good in school and they get good grades, they earn points for that too, and they get the reward points. They can spend that at Shields on stuff they need, and it's pretty awesome.
Fantastic.
So walk us through like the entire, like that part of the program. They have rewards so they can get stuff I'm learning everything about this program tonight, other than I know you take kids hunting and have a banquet.
Well,
we should probably ask this. Sorry. Do you have landowners that donate areas to hunt, or is it mainly public?
I think it's a combination. I mean, Justin again could probably speak to it more.
We have a lot of landowners. Yeah,
a lot of landowners that have graciously allowed us access, but there is some private land or public land hunting that goes on as well.
Yeah.
And that comes with big responsibility. I'm a firm believer that I was taught if you bring it in, you take it out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If you didn't bring it in, you see it, you take it out.
Yep.
We had a youth coyote calling contest here a couple years ago, and we pulled up to a spot and we were going to go in, and it was raining, and we're like, we'll just wait till this rain passes. And I look in the ditch, and somebody had like dumped their whole case of beer on the ground. And me and my buddy's dad was actually with us taking these kids, and I said, kids, when it stops raining, first thing we're doing, they're like picking up all that garbage. And so them two boys, and we got out and helped them, and we picked up, I mean, it had to be 40 beers and whiskey bottles, and I'm like, throw it in the back of my pickup, we'll take care of it, but I mean, we didn't leave it there, but you got to teach that responsibility of this is something you're going to do, all the way down to closing a gate, right? Like,
Especially a gate.
Always the gate. Yep.
Yeah, I always try to push that with my kids. It doesn't matter if we're fishing at Pactola or Angostura, but when we go to leave, I always tell them, pick up 5 pieces of trash and put it in your net. It's like,
There you go.
Yeah,
Yep.
pick it up and let's get it out.
Justin, I got to ask an obvious question, but you also collect knives.
Oh, yeah, quite a few.
I just, the more I'm staring, I'm like, okay, before I forget to ask, I got to ask about collecting knives. So do these knives go back to great grandpas, to family members?
Yep, some of them do, and then some I've just collected over the years. I've got some World War II stuff, and a lot of anything that's an American-made knife. I try to get at least one in my collection.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I like it. It looks great.
So go through the whole program, like with the points and how kids get signed up for this, and what it takes to be part of it.
Justin, do you want to field that?
Well, I mean, you can contact Christian Hagen, of course. He's the one that usually gets all of our kids signed up, and go through our website as well. But the point system at the beginning of every deer season or in the fall, beginning of any hunting season, we always give out, like any of our mentees, they get a $250 stipend, and they can go and spend that on any hunting or fishing gear they need for the season. And then also on top of that, if they volunteer for any of our events or even volunteer, we have some programs in town that do like creek, trash pickup and stuff. They volunteer for that. A lot of times they can earn points, and they can take those points and they get another gift card to spend at Shills, and they can spend that on pretty much whatever they want to. Same with good grades. Yeah,
that's impressive too.
Yeah, so we have a good contingent of the children, the mentees that show up this weekend, and they'll come after school tomorrow and see if I need any help, and then they'll come Friday after school, and so they we again just try to instill, this is a great program, and it takes manpower. Everybody's volunteer, and it's a nonprofit. So we need help, and we need help raising money.
So with that, like if a kid doesn't have a gun, I mean, are they earning guns? Or you guys bring all the guns?
We have guns that we can loan out to as well. So, and fishing equipment.
We do not issue any weapons to the children or the children's family.
Nope.
We have a very, very solid process of how guns are checked in and checked out. Actually, the Pennington County Sheriff Brian Mueller, that is kind of his area of one of his areas of the program, is he helps manage all of the weapons, and so those are all managed through the program.
Nice. Yeah. So like you really, like you said, if 85% of your kids don't have a father figure in the house, I mean, this is changing lives. And if you've done this 20 years, have you seen a full circle where somebody's just that diehard outdoorsman that's not a hunter?
I don't have the exact statistics, but I know, we partner very closely with Game Fish and Parks, and I'm kind of pulling numbers out of the air, but I remember hearing that at one point we had like a 65% hunting rate at post program. So they were somehow able to track the kids that had been through our program and that then applied for licenses as adults. And it was my dad was super pleased. Now we kind of don't know how far that goes, beyond a couple of years after graduating from our program. But yeah, from all indications, at least from a hunting perspective, we've definitely had a good success rate of that. And
we've got some kids that have went through the program and become adults and came back to become mentors.
Now they're mentors in our program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there again, there's your success too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's changed lots of lives.
And I'm sure there's you guys probably got some behavioral or policies in there as well. Like you got to keep good grades, but you also got to be a good human being to continue in the program.
Yeah. I mean, Christian manages all that. That's part of, he's kind of not only our executive director, but our match specialist. And so, there is a very strict protocol on who becomes mentees and who becomes mentors. And then the matching process of that is also very well managed, and not something that I think Justin and I are overly involved in. I just know that they take a lot of care and effort, to make sure that the right people are in the program and the right people are matched together. So, yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Just thinking about that from my child's standpoint, where depending on what grade and what teacher, there were years where some teachers were a blessing and the chemistry between the two was fabulous. And then there were years where it wasn't so good, and to no fault of anybody, right?
Right. No, there's definitely matches that are not match made in heaven.
Right.
Yeah.
But you guys take the time to find and create that perfect match. And I think,
Yeah. So, man, if you're listening to this, you want to be a mentor. Again, go to the South Dakota Youth Hunt website. There's an area dedicated just to people interested in becoming mentors. We always, particularly women, we always have a handful of female hunters that, we can only match them with females. And so we're always recruiting for that.
It doesn't have to be just hunting. It can be, anything outdoors. We've got kids that just want to shoot archery, maybe not hunt, but just shoot a bow.
We have an archery arm of this where with Black Hills Archery, Al Kraus is on the board, and he's been very, very integral in our programming and getting kids into the archery side of things. And so, the website, details that. And, then our two big events of the year, one is this weekend. And then we have also the wildlife banquet, which this year is, Saturday, May 3rd here in Rapid City. And it's about a 700 person banquet. I mean, it's insane. It's probably one of the biggest banquets in the state. Very well attended. We have an amazing live auction, a great silent auction, and we raise money not only for the program, because it does cost money to do this program, but we also have created a conservation grant program. And so once, I can't remember the exact timing of the year, but it's around end of summer into early fall, we open up applications for anything outdoor related. Sometimes it's, I don't know, Justin, if you can remember some of the things. We give them to a lot of the local shooting sports, the local 4-H clubs. A lot of them don't even have restroom facilities out of their facilities. And so we're always looking for ways that we can help peripheral outdoor organizations. Sometimes they need blinds bought for whatever they're doing, or they need food plots, some money for food plots, or, so that's become a real integral part of the program. Not something that we anticipated, but there was a need for, and we had the funds to do that. So.
Yeah. So I don't know if you have numbers. It's probably a Christian question. How many kids do you have in your program roughly now, would you have to say?
I think we have 59, just under 60 matches, the last I heard. So
is that kind of like your average? I mean, I'm sure it fluctuates from year to year as kids.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely had more and we've definitely had less. I think we're kind of at a sweet spot right now. I mean, as Justin mentioned, sometimes, we have to double or triple up of mentee to mentor, whether that be sibling sets or whatnot. But a lot of the number is kind of driven by how many mentors we have available in any given season.
So is this something, I mean, obviously you guys are Rapid City based, but is this something you're looking, or is there a potential to expand to a central South Dakota, eastern South Dakota? Is that something in the plans, or is that already there?
It's already there. Do you know exactly, Justin? I know we have one up in the Northern Hills. We have a Northern Hills chapter.
Yeah, we have a wall chapter too, I believe.
Chapter. And I think we did have one a little more further east, and I just don't know if it quite got the traction. But we definitely have a fairly thriving one up in the Northern Hills. I think the wall one is a newer one, but I know Justin's been amiable, and the board has been helpful in trying to get things established. And we help seed those programs.
So is this something, sorry, I'm asking, maybe they're dumb questions, but just trying to learn from my own, and maybe our listeners can hear this. And, this gets played on everything. It's on Spotify, YouTube. I mean, it's everywhere after this is over. So is this something where, like, do you do overnight trips, or is that a no-go? Or, you're dealing with kids, so you really got to be.
Yeah, it's we have done a couple overnight trips to go fishing. We've taken some kids to Chamberlain. We have a gentleman there that's been a strong supporter. He'll be at the sports show this weekend. Jim Clasius is his name, Dakota Prairie Guide Services. And we have taken an overnight trip, and we don't do it overly often. It's a big undertaking. But yes.
Yeah, I can understand why you wouldn't do it on a regular basis, because that's I mean, really, seriously, just a day hunt.
Taking my own kids is a lot of work.
Right. Yeah, isn't that the truth? But
right, Justin, it's a lot.
A day hunt with a child that you don't know, and maybe some of these year after year you get to know, and it makes it a little bit easier. But
for sure.
But it's quite a commitment.
Yeah, but we do have lots of day. We host several pheasant hunts. Day pheasant hunts. We have a cat fishing tournament out at my dad's ranch. So we have lots of day events. We have some shooting days. So we have a lot of day events that are more group oriented, and then obviously just the individual hunts as well.
Yeah, we have a fly fishing day, a bass fishing day.
Ice fishing, not this year, because it's so warm.
We didn't get ice
fishing days. And,
any black powder?
Spoiler, I'm coming out this weekend and next weekend for Hooked on Hardwater, and we had some long conversations in the last week about Hooked on Hardwater with the ice.
Yeah.
So
Hard year.
He invited us out, and I'm going to help him with some media coverage. Jason can't make it this year. I'm kind of going as a test pilot year to figure out what we can all do going forward with this, with the, being able to do some media coverage for that event as well. So, it's such a great thing. I was explaining to you guys earlier that, we started a youth tournament a couple years ago, and Jason's kind of in the middle of getting media stuff ready, but he always seems to pop his head out and gets that same smile on his face when you watch all those kids out there. And it's a lot of fun. We got a comment here. Jason, I'll let you handle this one.
Yeah, okay, we're gonna do this comment quick, but it's 7:28. So Amy, we're gonna say goodbye to you right after this comment then. So Jody says, my son went into the program in 2012. It was life-changing for him. He is hooked for life and had a wonderful mentor and support of many mentors. I am forever grateful all that was instilled into his life. And that's very well said, Jody. Thank you for sharing that. It's important to hear back, Yeah,
and it warms my heart, because my dad, he just kind of had this wild and crazy idea, and he, as he's kind of, the sun is setting on his time, as he's getting older and ready for retirement. It's really heartwarming to hear those types of stories. And just kind of my last plug here, before I have to take off, Justin, if he's available, can stay on and talk more. I just want to plug the Black Hills Sports Show and Outdoor Expo, which is this weekend. Doors open Friday at noon. We're open all weekend. South Dakota Youth Hunting, there is an admission to get in, and sometimes people get a little cranky about that, but I have to remind them that your admission helps support this program and 2 other youth-based local organizations. And we have a beautiful auction Saturday night at the monument up at the Cowboy Bar. Lots of hunts and fishing and lots of opportunities. Justin is integral in helping me with that, but we'd love to see some people up there, and pencil in your calendar May 3rd if you want to come into town and come to our wildlife banquet. Again, it's spectacular. It's quite the event. So
I was glad you hit on that, but I wanted to hear, tell everybody there's more than just a sports show going on this weekend in the banquet. What can somebody expect going to that Black Hill Sports Show?
Yeah, we've so one of the more special things we have a big buck and bull contest in conjunction with it. You need to bring your horns and antlers in by noon on Saturday would probably be the best bet. And we have professional scorers on site, and that's a memorial for a deer hunter that passed away way too soon. It's called the Treven Beast Big Buck and Bull Contest. So that's going on. We have the South Dakota Youth Hunting Live and Silent Auction. I have over 100 vendors, including all of the campers and fishing and ATVs. All those people are there. The Black Hills Raptors are there, sharing their side of the conservation of some of the fowl in the area. And so, yeah, it's a great event. It's fun, and it supports great causes. And South Dakota Youth Hunting is the driving force behind it.
And of course, BHSSportsShow.com.
BHSportsShow.com. You can get all the information about the sports show on there. And and then again, May 3rd, the wildlife banquet. We don't have a lot of information about that. I finish this event. I take about 2 weeks off, and then I start up on the wildlife banquet. But check back and we'll have more information about that if you're interested. My final little plug here: if you're listening or hear this and you want to donate an auction item that helps us raise money, if you're a landowner and want to give us access to some hunting opportunities, again, just reach out to our website. Christian Hagen, or myself would get back to you, but we are always looking for people to help us support this program.
Thank you for everything you do. Amazing.
Yeah. Thanks for the opportunity. I love talking about it. And, Justin's really the boots on the ground person. I'm kind of the behind the scenes money raiser, but,
Justin kinds. It takes everybody to make it happen. I'm sure Justin is right where he wants to be. And that's your job.
But speaking of which, I got to run because I got children I've got to go pick up. I'm a full-time mom as well. So,
thank you kindly. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. I really enjoyed chatting. Thank you.
All right, Justin. So you got involved in this. We kind of touched your story a little bit, but you said you have 3 kids you mentor. And how long have you had them all the same amount of time, or is it something you get one a year? Or
I've had all 3 of them the same amount of time. Yeah, and they're all around the same age, so I can get them out together and do a lot of things as a group, and it really works out well.
So why did you pick this? Like, why did you decide I want to be a mentor? Somebody's sitting here on the fence, sell me to become a mentor.
As a kid, at one point I needed it myself, and I didn't have an opportunity for a program like this. I was just blessed enough to have family and friends to get me out and, really show me the outdoors, and appreciate it.
So I'm thinking about the fact that we've got all this metadata and all this stuff that's going to be out in the interwebs, and people may be searching up youth hunts, and they've got kids that are interested in it. Let's break down some of the stuff that's necessary to do this. Like, what caliber rifle is the best for 13 to 18? What kind of clothing and that type of thing. Give people an idea of what they got to have ahead of time to be prepared.
That's the good thing about the program is we offer so much. The kids really don't have to have anything.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if they don't have it, we'll get it.
Okay. So then I'm guessing a 13, 14, 15-year-old is going to start with, you wouldn't use a 22, 250, 243, 270.
Yeah, 243, 6.5 Creedmoor. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, something low recoil.
Yeah. And then obviously the older they get, maybe they're
making,
you're into the 30-06, 308, that kind of thing, or are you leaving that bigger stuff? So you are using those calibers for the older kids?
It depends on what they're using it for, of course,
Okay.
So basically, my kid doesn't have anything, shows up, you're giving him a $250 gift card before hunting season starts. Are you taking your kids to Shields or Cabela's?
So yeah, the mentor has to be present, and then they'll walk through what they need or what they have planned for the season for the mentee. And of course, they'll go through and they'll help them pick exactly what they need.
Okay. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Because I tell people, like, bring your kid, bring boots. Like, bring boots. I've got, more apparel. And I want to jump involved this. My wife would probably tell me to do it, but she's also like, you need to start saying no in life. And because I go in many different directions, but Jason in his own way, you kind of got into the mentor thing this year. your son is 18 years old, graduated high school, moving on to the next stage of his life. And, you kind of got into it. I kind of push you in.
Yeah, put me right into it, which is great.
And then I get yelled at for it. So why don't you talk about a little bit about your experience with it? Because I think it's changed your life a lot.
Well, and honestly, I think my story might help other adults who here's the thing. I mean, I'm very honest about the fact I'm just not into kids. I just don't care for kids, right? I just don't. I had to pretend when my son was born. I had to pretend through that, and finally, I became a dad, right? And I think some people need to hear this honesty, right? So last year, I meet a 14-year-old that has a desire to metal detect. And I'm thinking, well, I'll help this kid out. I mean, what the heck? What could go wrong? I'll help him find a joy in it and that passion that I have. Well, the two of us hit it off, and I believe I hit it off. I mean, honestly, at this point, I would call him my second son. We're not that close, but we Snapchat almost every day. And I love the kid. I mean, I can't believe that I was lucky enough, and I thank Kurt and Emily that we can go out and find military buttons from the Civil War. We're finding coins from the 1800s, and it's amazing the amount of joy and the love and the desire I have to. I can't wait. This weather's so beautiful. I told him yesterday, so we're going to be digging into dirt pretty soon. And here it is. I always wondered how a father who married a woman with kids can pretend that those kids are his too. I get it now. I was naive. Into my 50s thinking, so unless you give it a try, and I think, if you're on the fence about becoming a mentor, and specifically with this program, if this is something that fits you, you need to say yes. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it, because you find lifelong friends, you find different relationships that build your spirit. I'm a different person because of Casey. I am. He's a wonderful kid. I'm a different person because of my son, Cade, who I absolutely adore. And I would never want to go through life without that boy. But then to have Casey there as well is truly amazing. I mean, it's a blessing. And if you're, if you're a loner like I am and would rather just be alone, there's more to life than being alone. And if you can spend it with another child and help that child grow, and I'm not kidding you, this boy is an amazing kid. He's beyond his years. Sometimes I think he's 24. Sometimes I think he's 34. I think a couple of times I looked at him and went, are you the same age? Are you 54 or 14? Because he's so amazing. He will be the Lake Oahe historian. That kid will know more about Lake Oahe than anybody else. So that's the other cool thing. This whole metal detecting adventure that he and I started, and that he just taken it and run with it, even on his own. He's going to keep the history going for a long, long time, which I think is important, because these guys he's learning from are, their curtains are coming down, and life is coming to an end for a lot of these guys that hold this history. So it's a big deal. I mean, that's all I have to say is if you, if you're I want to say hard ass, if you're selfish like I was, think again, because it can change your life. It truly can. So thank you for letting me.
One thing to that little story, and then we're gonna get back to Justin. But Casey's mom came to me and she goes, do you know anybody who knows anything about metal detecting? This kid won't quit talking about it. Well, Jason happened to become in town. I said, yeah, I do. Let me call him. I said, Jason, bring your metal detecting stuff, which he never leaves home without. And I said, I got this young boy, and he's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, he doesn't know what he's learning this stuff, doesn't really know what he's doing. Next thing I know, they're gone. As soon as he gets there, he meets Casey. I introduce him, and they're gone. And next thing I know, he's like, I gave him my metal detector, and da-da-da. And he's like, I go, you gave him your metal detector? He goes, I just felt the urge. I needed to. He needed a better one. And he was going to go fake plant change on the beach so the kid could find it. And the kid ends up finding what, a Mercury head dime, like the first thing he finds. And he's like,
all these old coins. Yeah.
Yeah. And so literally I watched Chasen completely change from like, okay, I'll do it. Like almost like I was twisting his arm to get it done, to watching him, just literally, I mean, now I talk to him like, what are you doing? I was down in Pier today, and I'm like, and you didn't call? You didn't call. He's like, no, me and Casey metal detected for 9 hours today, and we found this, this, and this. And I'm like, you were 5 miles from my house. I didn't even know you were here. Like,
yeah. So sorry, being a little selfish in that regard, not saying hi to you because we were busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I always tell my wife, that the boys are just keeping me young. That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
Keeping me young. But I feel the same way though about you talking about passing on, the history and stuff. It's the same way with the kids. We're passing on the passion for our sport. Really, I mean, we got to have somebody that's gonna take care of it in the future. I mean, especially on the conservation side, and it comes back to teaching them respect for the animals and all of that. Whenever you got several different kids out.
You think about that. Hunting goes all the way back to the beginning of this land, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's I don't know, tens of thousands of years old. I really don't know what number to put on it, but I guess it goes all the way back to the beginning of time. Yeah.
If we don't, especially with hunting and fishing, if we don't pass on, that passion for our sport and, for our heritage, it's going to go away really fast.
It's a die. I mean, you look at, like, I'm a big guy in the waterfall, and the numbers of ducks are steadily inclining. The number of duck hunters are steadily declining. Yeah. And it's been that way for a long time. And I mean, I'll take anybody. Like, I don't care if they're 50 years old. I don't care if they've never duck hunted and they want to go, or they duck hunted one time when they were a kid. I'll take them, and I'll sit back and watch them hunt. I don't even care, and I love the fact that you guys are taking them and teaching them to clean the animal and doing the stuff that, is the right thing to do. I've seen too many people take a kid hunting and drop them, clean the birds and don't teach them what they're doing, or, I even had that. Like, we never really deer hunted growing up. I started deer hunting within the last 10 years here in Pierre. I didn't know how to gut a deer.
Yeah. I had a kid I worked with
35
this year. I had a kid I worked with this year. He's in his early 20s, never hunted, fished, and he found out that I was a mentor for the program, and he said, hey, I'd like to try it sometime. He goes, I just want to see where my meat comes from. So I said, okay, well, our state, we offer a adult mentor tag if you haven't drawn a tag in the last 10 years. So I said, hey, go get a doe tag, get this unit. I was like, we'll go shoot and practice. And sure enough, we went out and he shot a really nice doe, and I walked him through the whole processing step and everything. And now he's actually coming this weekend to help volunteer for the program. So yeah, it's full circle.
It takes getting people into it at any age, right? It's still young. You teach a kid how to hunt and fish, and they won't have any money to do dumb stuff.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I got a little nephew that lives down in Platte, and he's 15 years old. And my nephew Bodie, he'll be like, I'm going hunting today, or I'm going fishing. And he's literally to the point where earlier this year, I missed a phone call from him, and I miss another phone call from his mom. And I miss a phone call from him, and I call him back, and I go, what's up? And he's like, well, I'm out ice fishing. I said, okay, what's going on? Well, my mom said I couldn't go. So I'm going to call you and see what the answer would be, and he's like, so she just knew what your answer was going to be. So I just went hunting. I just went ice fishing.
Yeah. It's pretty great. Most of my mentees are going to be turning 17 this year. And, just to see them come so far along and after school, they'll send you pictures. Hey, I went fishing by myself and caught this, or, and they're doing a lot of stuff on their own now.
That's got to be pretty rewarding too when
very much
when you taught them and go out and do it on their own. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and that's the cool part is like you're gonna have. I mean, you're new into this. It'd be really interesting to talk to somebody that's been doing it 20 years, right? And find out the stories that they have. Probably still talking to these kids today.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you definitely make a connection for a lifetime.
And I'm sure. I mean, it's not all peaches and roses, right? Like sometimes you have to be a parent figure to these kids, and I'm sure you have to kind of discipline them in a way to correct them. I don't want to make that sound like you got to be bad or
not really discipline so much, but definitely teach them the right and wrongs of it. Yeah. Be stern with
good, smart decisions. But here again, that's a part of mentoring, right? It's part of adulting. Those kids need that. That's what helps them create respect for other human beings.
Yep. Yeah. For sure.
So, when you get placed as a mentor, were you placed with your they try to place you with young kids so you get them for a few years? Because I'm sure you get kids that are older that get in the program,
and we get them of all ages, for sure. And it's not always set up to where you get them for years and years. Sometimes a mentor doesn't work out, or sometimes a mentee doesn't work out. So it's always changing, and for sure.
So with that, like once you're assigned a mentee and you guys get this deal, like obviously there's going to be some nutrition and, kids don't want to do it anymore or whatever, vice versa. But you kind of take this kid and it's not jumping around from mentor to mentor. It's your mentee for until they're out of the program.
Yep. If we can get it that way, that's how, that works out really great. But sometimes, we get a kid that's 16 and wants to try it,
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Well, very cool program. You told me earlier today that you're part of the silent auction team.
Yep.
So do you have any, I was creeping the Facebook page and saw some stuff come up, but give us a little taste of some of your items. I don't want to put you on the spot, but if I'm contemplating coming, what's that item that's probably going to push me over the edge to be there?
Well, we had some really good donations for Mr. Liquor on some high dollar adult beverages. We have a local rancher here. We've got a beef package that's going up on a silent auction, and we have for the ladies we have some facial stuff from a local salon here and things like that.
That's fantastic. I've never really told anybody about I've got a talent that I keep secret. I'm actually a very good silent auctioneer.
Yeah. Me too.
Seriously. You know how much I just sold right now?
I mean, 3 years of doing this with him, Justin, when he says something like that, I just kind of hold on because I don't know which direction he's going to go. But that is not where I saw that going. But yeah, so I mean, big buck contest this weekend, Black Hill Sports Show. I will be there. Make sure you come by and say hi at the Vexus booth. And make sure you come check out that banquet. So now, getting into the show, does that get you into the banquet as well, or is there a separate?
Well, yeah, it's not really a banquet so much as it's just a live and silent auction at the Cowboy Bar, and then of course we have pizza to start it off, free pizza to start it off, and then we got some really great live auction items this year as well. So a lot of ice fishing trips.
Does the auction kind of run all day, or is there a certain time in that?
Yeah, it'll start later in the evening. Yep.
I think I saw 5:30 to 7 or something like that. Everything was going down.
I believe so, and of course, it always goes later. So,
of course, there's always somebody that's got to keep it going late.
And Chad thought Preparation H was coming. Inside joke, Justin. See? It was. We had a guy on talking about using it on his fishing lures, and it's kind of stuck ever since then. We're trying to get a full sponsorship for Preparation H.
Oh man! Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, you got to get your sponsorship dollars where you can get it. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Even if you have to take it in the.
So, well, buddy, we appreciate your time tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Huge congratulations on what you guys are doing with this program, and getting involved in it as a mentor and the people who put it together. I just got hats off to you because we run events and we understand what goes into it, and to take a commitment in life to try to get somebody out once a month fishing and hunting in this day and age is no small feat. So hats off to you guys. I look forward to meeting you guys in person this weekend, and cannot wait to see what you have to provide there and learn more about the program.
Yeah, and if there's anybody out there that wants to be a mentor, we'll be there with South Dakota Youth Hunting Adventures booth, of course, too. So, yeah, come and talk to us, and we'll get you signed up.
Fantastic,
awesome.
Justin. Thank you. Appreciate it. And before we say goodbye, next Wednesday night, the North Dakota walleye phenom Jaden Wendell's going to be on the program. Looking forward to it. Justin, thank you much.
Thank you.
All right, happy spring to you.